Ever feel like you're doing everything right? You're casting the visions, you're showing up every day, you're putting in energy, you're putting in effort, and nothing is showing up for you? It can feel so defeating and discouraging, and it feels like other people are winning and you're left behind. Other people are having babies and you still can't find your dream partner. What gives? This is what Abraham Hicks calls the buffer of time. You ask, it's already done, and now your time to receive it is the piece that often trips a lot of us up. And it's that buffer time between asking and seeing it and living it and experiencing it that we have to manage. This is the key to everything. And I will teach you exactly what you need to do to make sure that you get through this period with ease and grace, and of course, fast momentum, so that you can let in what you truly want. It all comes down with handling you. We're not trying to change the external world. We are changing how you are handling what you're seeing in the external world. So instead of asking yourself, how will this happen? When will it happen? Who was going to make it happen? I don't know. I keep having these same results. Why is this happening to me? Instead of being in that mindset, we are now shifting ourselves to, how am I going to grow through this uncertainty? How am I going to handle this humbling, discouraging moment? How am I going to handle my worry and anxiety right now? How am I going to work with my stress? That is the empowering questions. We are working with, how are we handling our energy? How are we handling how we're showing up? When you make this shift, the buffer of time will seem so minuscule that every time you ask, it's almost automatically given. It's amazing how fast the universe works for you when you are in alignment. Now, a lot of us are going to roll our eyes. I work a lot with men, and they're very logical and analytical, and they have a hard time trusting this. And it's because we have a default program that's rooted in the idea that we have to work harder in order to achieve. That in order to be successful, we have to earn it. And this is the shifted belief system that we need to work with. So we are now entering in new affirmations during this buffering time that are more empowering and aligned with what we want. For example, when I was building my wealth, what I really wanted was ease. I wanted to build a practice. I wanted to work with men because I knew I could help their mental health, and I thought that it was a sector that wasn't readily available. I didn't think that a lot of men had the resources that I could offer. That was a tough audience because they are a little bit harder, especially high achieving men, at giving themselves grace, giving themselves time to work on themselves. So that is what I was wanting to do, and I didn't know how to do that. I'm a female. Why would they be attracted to work with me? I know nothing about them. But what I realized is my nurturing component was something that a lot of them did not have and not valued them. I brought in a different perspective that actually helped elevate their success and their joy and happiness in working through all of those different elements. So that was one thing I started to leverage. If I got caught up in my mindset of, this is never going to happen, I want to do this is exciting to me, but I don't think it's going to happen, guess what? It never would have. We have to expand your consciousness. So I like to call it, we need to open rather than close. So open means that we are open to possibilities. Close means, I don't know if this is going to happen. I can't figure this out. This is taking forever. Do you notice how you kind of hunch over? You just kind of get defeated. Your energy's a little bit lower. But when you're open, you're high vibing. You're more excited for the opportunities. You wake up every day thinking, it's Christmas morning. Who knows what I'm going to get today? That's how I want you to start looking. I want you to wake up every day and just be so excited that you get to go on a ride on a spaceship. We are on a spaceship. Earth is in the middle of the universe that is just going through all of these galaxies, and we have nothing to do with it. But we're on a really large spaceship, and we forget that. So that is one of the main things. I want you to come back to the present moment, be grateful that you're alive, remember that you love it, remember that it's fun to be here. When I'm working with athletes, for example, that's one of the things we have to come back to, the love of the game. We forget that. So come back to the love of life and focus on asking yourself expansive, open questions as you handle the buffer of time. With the last piece here, and this is the most critical piece, understanding that it's just a buffer of time, telling yourself that my dream is inevitable because it is. You want it, you can have it. It's how it works. That's why you came down to this planet Earth, because you knew you could ask for what you want. You knew you were going to have contrast. I was going to say, hey, this is clarity. This is what you want. You're going to develop through your experiences. You get that clarity. You ask for more. You can have it. That is how it works. But we cut ourselves off with our disbelief. So in that buffer of time, the final step then is to tell yourself that it is only a buffer of time. Everything that's happening right now is you moving towards your goal. It's like when you're in a car driving to a destination and you're 5 miles out and say, oh, I'm not there yet. I don't think it's ever going to happen. And then turn your car around and go all the way back home. You do this all the time with your mind. And this is why your goals take forever to come to realization. So what we have to do, instead of turning our car around, keep our car focused and go through that buffer of time by telling ourselves that we're on our way. And then stay connected to our openness, having those questions. And when you ask those questions, you're more intuitive and you'll get that guidance, and then you will get what you desire. I'll give you a quick example of how this was working out for me. When I was building my practice, I wanted to work with a significant client that I had no idea how I was going to connect to, and no idea how it was going to happen, but he just kept being someone that I really wanted to work with. I knew I could serve him. I knew I had something that he didn't have in his repertoire. And I knew that the people he was working with were very masculine minded, that having a nurturing, more feminine mind would actually really help his game. So I visualized it, I wanted it, and then I started feeling doubtful because I started feeding my mind these stories, this default program that I played, that why would he go for me? I'm too female, I don't have the background, Then when I was like, oh my gosh, this isn't serving me. So I started to say, oh, we're in the buffer of time. How am I going to handle my uncertainty here? How am I going to handle my anxiety and my stress? And I started working with myself and saying, of course you don't know how it's going to happen because it hasn't happened yet. But that's the fun of life. And then I started waking up every day getting excited to see how the universe was going to bring me closer, because I developed that expectation that it would. And when I got that client and we signed and we're still working together to this day, this is how it all happened. I didn't go chase. He came to me. It was so synchronistic. I got an impulse to change seats at an airport. I ended up talking to someone. I tell this story quite a bit, but I ended up talking to someone who was connected to his agent. I ended up reaching out to his agent, talking to his agent, and they all brought me in. It was so magical. I would have never been able to do this on my own. Being open is the key. So just know that your life is getting better every single moment. Just allow it to. You are one shift away from a breakthrough that changes everything. Manage yourself, not the external world. Handle that buffer of time because your success is inevitable.